City police say that the 23-year-old male involved in the single motor vehicle collision on Fournier Road and Trunk Road last weekend has unfortunately succumbed to his injuries while in the hospital. Police say that on September 22nd, the driver lost control of a motorcycle and the vehicle crossed the intersection, coming to rest on the north side of Trunk Road. City police are continuing this investigation, and the name of the deceased will not be released at this time. The OPP investigated 34 road fatalities so far this year in which the victims were reportedly not wearing a seatbelt. There were 30 such deaths at this time last year, with lack of occupant restraint being linked to 49 deaths by the end of the year. As the OPP gears up for its fall seatbelt campaign, drivers and passengers are being reminded that airbags do not replace seatbelts and are designed to work with seatbelts, not instead of them. When a frontal collision launches vehicle occupants toward the steering wheel, the dashboard, or windshield, even at low speeds without a seatbelt, the outcome can be catastrophic, even if the airbag does deploy. During the campaign, the OPP will be highly visible throughout the province as they conduct education and enforcement initiatives aimed at getting people to buckle up and stay safe. Public Safety Minister Ralph Goodale says it's too early to tell how much financial support the federal government will provide the National Capital Region devastated by tornadoes last Friday. Goodale toured the aftermath yesterday.
There's a well-established formula that has existed for years. The first portion of any loss that is beyond insurance coverage, the first portion of that loss is covered by provincial governments. When it reaches a certain level, according to the formula, the Government of Canada becomes part of the formula, starting out at 25%, then 50%, then 75%, and ultimately, if the size of the disaster loss is large enough, the Government of Canada's contribution could be as much as 90%. But that's very early stages yet. Nobody is doing the arithmetic. Everybody's focused on making sure that people in an emergency situation.
The auditorium was packed with excited school board members and Saultites yesterday at Boreal French Immersion Public School's open house and ribbon-cutting ceremony. The $16.5 million remodel of the former Alexander Henry High School was opened because of over-enrollment at F.H. Clerk French Immersion. It took about 5 years to come to fruition. Between both ADSB French Immersion schools, there are about 1,000 students enrolled currently. The school also offers a daycare, which will open after Thanksgiving weekend. Principal Carrie Vaz said she was involved in the planning process from an administrative point of view, giving a school-based perspective on aspects of safety and what she describes as the exciting, innovative learning spaces. Vaz said one of the highlights for her was seeing the faces of the staff, students, and parents as they entered the building for the first time. She also said she thinks it's important to encourage students to become fluent in French. It opens many doors, she says, for future careers. Students who graduate from the French Immersion Public Schools go to the immersion program at Superior Heights. Currently, Boreal has 450 students enrolled. The Trudeau government sought to diffuse weeks of outrage by ordering officials to adopt a more critical eye before approving funds and services for the family member of veterans, particularly relatives convicted of serious crimes. Halifax man Christopher Garnier, you may remember, was convicted last year of killing an off-duty police officer whose receipt of financial assistance for PTSD treatment from Veterans Affairs Canada has sparked widespread anger. A Halifax court heard last month that Veterans Affairs Canada was covering the cost of Garnier's psychologist because his father was a veteran who has also been diagnosed with post-traumatic stress disorder. The revelation that taxpayers were footing the bill for Garnier's treatment has sparked widespread condemnation, and Veterans Affairs Minister Seamus O'Regan promised last month to look into how and why the decision was made. Yesterday, O'Regan told the House he had reviewed the findings and was directing officials to ensure that services received by a family member of a veteran are related to the Veterans Service, and where they are not, that they be reviewed by a senior official.
It's moments like this that our commitment to our veterans is tested. We cannot discuss the treatment of this individual without discussing the treatment of the father, without discussing the treatment of the veteran. And I stand before this House as someone who will not infringe upon the privacy of that veteran. We all know because of their track record what that side of the House would have us do because they did it before. They played with veterans' health records like they were playing cards.